BRB UK. Worse teeth, better accents.
Hello, and indeed, ahoy, hoy. Welcome back. For us, not for you lot, you've heard us once a week for the past couple of weeks, but it's welcome back for us.
Oh,
We
yeah.
haven't had to put up with each other's droning for at least a couple of weeks. We're BRB UK. It's episode 620. I am Dan. I'm one of your hosts. Hello, good evening, good day, good afternoon, good wherever you are in your bit of the day. I'm joined by Coleman, and I'm also joined by Tim. Hello, Coleman and Tim.
Hello,
Hi.
How are you?
Mm-hmm.
Tim first.
Nodding, Tim, by the way, an excellent way to communicate on an audio-based
That
medium.
was just
That's
for
fantastic.
our video viewers, not for our
a little
listeners.
extra something for them. Yes, you can see Tim nodding. That's the real coolness we bring with our live stream. So yeah, good last week. Like, you know, not at all like pretending. Are we keeping up the pretense that actually we were here every week? Or are we just saying, oh, how was your Christmas?
No.
I think we'll say, how was your Christmas? How was your Christmas? It's good.
Pretty good.
Yep.
Indian Christmas. It's fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
I spent Christmas in another country. First
Nice.
time in a few years. And as I said in the pre-show, I got engaged on Boxing Day as well.
Hey, Tim's got a
Hey.
So had
cake.
a good holiday all round, but that was the cherry on the cake. So that was nice.
Good. You've said that correctly. Should your fiance listen? She, you know, I mean, you were getting confused between her and elephants earlier. I mean, just saying, but you know, I think you've rescued it.
Yep.
It's fine. I mean, you were in Thailand, weren't you, Tim? You're in Thailand.
Yes, in Koh Samui, which is not mainland Thailand, but yeah, just an
Not
island
mainland
off the
Thailand.
coast of
Thai mainland.
Yes.
Thai sideland. It was the side
Second land
quest of
Thailand.
Thailand. Is that where you were? Were you
Oh, no,
in the
my
side
side
quest?
quest-
Thailand.
Was stopping at Singapore on the way to
Right.
Thailand for 5-6
Okay.
hours on the way there and the way back. Which on the way there, nice, relaxing in the pool. There was an outdoor pool there. It was quite nice. It was a bit overcast, but it was generally nice. On the way back, we planned to do the same thing, and then it absolutely thundered with rain, and so we couldn't do that. And then we had a longer stay on the way back, and that wasn't quite as
Aw.
fun, especially as I was ill. But, you know, hey.
What'd you have, Tim? What'd you have, Tim?
Leprosy.
I don't know if it was food poisoning or what's the name? Or basically, yeah. This is a long thing, but I have a really bad reaction to wheat and dairy now, basically, and I'm not sure if it was that or
Lovely.
just general food poisoning. Stomach
Wonderful.
being a bit weaker and susceptible to food poisoning and that. But there was other people throwing up on the flight, and then I was throwing up for like the whole massive flight on the way home. So that was not fun at all. So,
Lovely.
yeah.
I mean,
And then
other people
British
throwing
Airways
up on
lost
the
my
flight
bag
would make
for
me
a
throw up.
week. They found
Yeah.
it now,
Oh.
but it's still in Thailand, and I'm not. So
Did you have a Steam Deck in it?
no.
That's
oh,
good.
thank God.
Yeah. Oh well, it's
Yeah.
a good thing it didn't happen on the way out there because I had the engagement ring in my main bag rather than my carry-on the way out there. So it's a good thing it happened this way round, not the other way around. So yeah.
Or
A
you could
very
be
different
engaged to someone in
ring-based
baggage
experience
claims
on the
by
way
now.
back for you, though, Tim.
Sorry.
A very different ring-based experience for you on the way back, though, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Good.
Food
Good,
poisoning was
Because, yeah,
not good on both ends
I
of the
I
equation.
can explain that joke for those of you who just were
Yeah,
underwhelmed and want to take that being underwhelmed to the next level. I'm happy to do that. All part of the service. Well, it's we're all back. We're firing on at least some cylinders following the Christmas and New Year period. Yes, I don't think Coleman either of our holidays were as exciting as Tim's. I went to Cheshire. That's pretty much it.
I went to Devon. It's pretty good. I like Devon.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you started in Slough, Dan, so you know
I did. Anyway,
it's all uphill from Slough. So
Yeah, some scrote trying to get in the way of my plans of getting out of Slough. Trying to sell
Yeah.
my house at the moment. Bloody pulled out. Cheeky bugger. So it maddens me. This is my middle class rant that you can just go, yeah, I'll buy a house, I'll buy a house. It's fine. You crack on with it. You buy a house. I'll buy a house. Which then prompts me as the person selling said house to incur legal fees, and then just going, nah. I don't think I want to do it anymore.
I don't know.
See ya,
I've
bye.
reconsidered the
What a
Slough thing.
scrote.
Maybe they listened to the podcast and went, hang on a second. He doesn't want to live in Slough for reasons. Maybe I shouldn't want to live
For
in
many
Slough
reasons. The reasons are legion why I don't want to live in
Yeah.
Slough. 1, it's Slough. 2, it's Slough. That list is just the first part of it, and it's 97 items long. The next bit of it is my neighbour lets her bin overflow, and she's got a small child.
In the bin?
Could be. I mean, I have
Thought it was
worried about,
overflowing.
I have considered the need to call social services. But it's always a good start to the day when you need to peel a used nappy off the windscreen of your car.
Oh.
Nice.
Yeah.
And people go, Dan, why do you want to move out of Slough? Because it's a cesspit. That's why.
I think your standards are too high.
Really? Do you?
Just sack up, man.
All right, okay. Just
Just
I'm
like Tim and
gonna-
his wheat allergies. Sack up.
Right. So what should I do in that situation with the used nappy? Should I hand it back? She'll go, I'm terribly sorry. I think you misplaced this used
Excuse
think
me,
you should
madam.
nappy.
You
I
appear to
think
have
you should
misplaced
post
the
it back
nappy
to
on my
them.
car windscreen.
Post it through the
appear to have
letterbox.
you appear to have mislaid your fecal relocation device for your small child.
No, what you do is you
Right.
get some adult nappies, you use them, and then you smear them on the windows of their
Return the
house, and
favour.
then knock on the door and go, "Not bloody nice, is it?"
Lovely. Or I just
Yeah.
lock eyes with them as I poop myself in an adult
Yeah.
nappy. To go.
Yeah.
Welcome, Spiky
Spiky.
Chris, by the way.
Spiky Chris
Um,
says, "Flip have I come into
Yeah.
chaos? I believe
Chaos
is
is
the term.
what you have.
Yes. Shall we talk about
Anyway,
video games because we got
we
big
should
video
talk about
games
video
to
games.
talk
Yeah, that's
about.
why we're here.
Absolutely
forgotten how
should.
to do
Tim,
that.
Tim,
Mhm.
you've been a poorly little boy, haven't you? You've been a
I
poorly
have,
little
here and
boy.
there.
You've been a poor. So
Right.
you are catching up on a game we did talk about at the end of last year.
Mhm, mhm.
And that is Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. So you've played.
Yes.
Yeah, I have finished it now.
Okay, I haven't
complete
quite.
the game. Right.
I think I'm just short of it. I'm still mopping up stuff in Siam, which, spoilers, as you probably know now, but it's one of the later levels. I believe it's the last level, and I've done like all the side quests, and I haven't finished the main quest yet. I think I've probably got a couple of main quests to go, basically. But did you do all the collectathon things as well? Because I haven't done most of those. I have done a lot of them, but not all of them.
I did for a bit. I mean, I need to go back and collect all my ancient relics.
Yes, that's one thing.
Is what I need to do because and though it looks like there is they're a bit of a meta game in and of themselves.
Yeah.
I won't say anything.
No, yeah.
I won't say anything, but collecting all of them is
a thing.
It is what you want to be doing if you can.
Yeah.
So I need to go back and clear all those up.
Right, yeah.
I haven't done any like the box up. I mean, I've probably done about half of the kind of collecty things. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm probably going to go back and do that at my
Because
leisure.
I tried to get most of the books as I've been going, especially because I've been trying to do the fighting ring side missions, and they help. Some of them help with those, so I've been trying to sort of keep up with those. The other stuff, like whatever I've come across, like I've tried to solve all the mysteries and do all the side quests, but not do all of the collectathon things. But I might go back and do that. And I don't know if you got to. There's a particular side quest you can pick up in Siam where you have to go revisit previous levels to get stuff for it.
Yes.
And I haven't done that yet either, basically. But I figure I'll leave that and some of the collectathon stuff till after I've finished the main campaign. I presume, and this is something you can give me some advance information for, but I presume I can go back and do that after I finish the main campaign, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. From
kinda
the way it's
everything's
structured, I
there and
assumed it would give you that option, but just wanted to check.
Yeah, the way I would kind of describe it is because you get kind of extra items as you go that help
Yeah.
you do certain things. And again, I'm trying not
Yes.
to just stray into spoiler territory, but there is
Yeah.
the very lightest of light kind of Metroidvania in there that
Yeah.
getting those items allows you to then access bits of the previous levels that you weren't able to get
Right,
to.
yeah.
And that's the way you get all of the extra fun things.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's worth going back to. I mean, it's just kind of, I just need to be asked to do so, I think
Yeah.
is what it really comes down to.
But it's one of the few games where I can see me looking to possibly 100% it all eventually. Like,
Yeah.
I'll probably do the main quest stuff. I still want to get back to Star Wars because I haven't made time for that. So I still want to get back to Outlaws at some point. So that may distract me once I finished it. But overall, I think Indiana Jones is a great game. I've seen some people not necessarily get on with the combat and stuff, but I think the level of like combat to exploration and the way that's all structured is a bit different to Machine Games' previous games, with the Wolfenstein stuff and stuff like that, where it's not as first-person shooter focused. But I think that really suits the original source material. I think it's very well suited to that. Like, you are going around and you are trying to sneak through things, but generally you can go around and punch a few Nazis, but you generally don't want to get into a gunfight because that'll alert everyone in the area, and that can become tricky. And I think that is...
I mean, that's just good
well
life
done.
advice, full stop, really.
Yeah, it's kind of, it's not, I wouldn't say it's, a complete real world realistic type thing, but you can have a lot of fun with it as well. Just as we said before, you can pick up a lot of objects in the environment and smack it. It does say Nazi at some point, but it's generally fascist as well, because you've got black shirts in Italy and a few other fascists around the world. But yeah, like I do think that generally
other brands of despot are available. You're quite correct.
Yes, but it does do a very good job of feeling like an Indiana Jones film and feeling faithful to the original material and structuring itself well in that regard. I also think like the environments and the way it kind of ramps up the levels. The Vatican being a slightly smaller environment than the two main areas that you go to later, with some other little smaller missions in between.
It is a controversial thing, Tim, to throw at you.
Yep.
I actually thought the weakest part of the Great Circle was actually the game bit. I think it would have been actually a very good Indiana Jones adventure all by itself, and actually where it dragged was the gamey bits in between the set pieces, I would argue.
Just want a more grounded movie than the last two outings.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's got its, and again, without wanting to go into spoiler territory, there is a bit of science fiction-y edge to it, which I think suits like the original source material. And I think like I didn't like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I think that's definitely by far the weakest of all the movies. But I quite liked, and I'm spacing on the name, but I quite liked the last film. Right, I thought that was decent.
Dial of Destiny.
I thought that was good.
Some say
that was not quite as good as the originals, but pretty much like felt a better like kind of a compliment to those than Kingdom of the Crystal Skull does. And I think this fits up there with the right kind of balance between a real world action archaeologist with a touch of science fiction to the story, and I think it hit that balance reasonably well. Like I was satisfied that, like you say, it could fit alongside the other movies in terms of that. Where I think the pacing does go a bit off was where he goes off and collects things, but again, that kind of suits the exploration archaeology type thing. And I also think one thing it does really well, the game generally, is a lot of the side missions like feel like main quests from other games. Like they're high quality, they introduce other little characters, like the actual puzzles and the environments are quite well and detailed, and some of them are like particular to that particular side quest, and they feel like well fleshed out and well realized, and don't feel like a tacked on, oh, here you go around another base kind of thing. Like it does feel more like a real world environment and a different take and a different thing. Like I just think, the whole game structure I thought was overall pretty good. As I said, I've skipped a few of the collectathons, and they may have outstayed their welcome if I'd have stuck around to do all of those on each level. But that gives me something to go back to in the end game, which I'm kind of looking forward to doing at some point. So yeah, overall, I've really, really enjoyed my time with the game. I think it's really well done. I don't know that they're planning any DLC with this, but I really hope they're planning sequels, because I'd really like to see more of this in the future as well.
Although I did start to find Gina a bit annoying towards the end, not going to lie.
Indy!
Yeah. Hey, Jones, shut up!
Hey, Dr. Jones!
And the AI stuff, where basically she could sorry, I turned into Tim. I said basically 3 times in a sentence.
3 times in one sentence.
I don't know quite what happened to me. There was moments, though, where it did break the immersion, where the AI was so dumb, she could literally walk in front of a Nazi, flash them, and they wouldn't pay attention. Whereas if they could see like the tip of my shoe go past a box, they'd be like, oh my God, there's someone here. Yeah, shoe. Yeah, I don't know why I picked on my shoe, but just moments like that get a bit silly. But no, I think it's a really good game.
The batting average on Indiana Jones sidekicks anyway, like
Yeah.
that great.
She's
to be
no
honest.
short round.
I mean, to be fair, you're right. It's kind of on brand with respect.
There's
to that,
Miriam
so-
and everyone else.
Yeah. So it's Indiana Jones Great Circle, something we've all played and all quite enjoyed, I think.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm still enjoying it.
Still enjoying it. And, it's a good reason if you're looking to just dip your toe into the water of Game Pass. You can do a lot worse than getting a month's worth and enjoying Indiana Jones Great Circle.
Yeah.
And
Also
if you don't
available
enjoy the
on
gameplay,
PC. And is it out on
PlayStation?
PS5 yet?
I
No.
think it's this year. Sorry, it's coming to
This
PS5. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's one of those games. If you don't like the gameplay, then you probably could just watch all the cutscenes on YouTube and enjoy it like a film because it's the cutscenes are very enjoyable.
They certainly are. What you been playing, Coleman?
Well, unfortunately, I've not been able to spend much time playing games at home, what with being away and being stuck at work a lot, and then getting sick. So I've been relegated to the Steam Deck, but luckily a game I've been really looking forward to has come out just towards the end of the year, and that's Aaero 2.
Aaero.
Yeah, if you, I'm sure I've spoken about Aaero more than one occasion on the show in the past. This is a rhythm game where you play as a spaceship and you follow like a wavelength that you're following along in time with the music, but you're also shooting objects. And it was a very small game made by Madfellows, and they were releasing it on the Xbox and put it in with their showcase when we went to one of the EGX Resd 1 years, and I really, really got into it, and they were nice enough to send me a copy. So I heard there was a sequel coming, which I think me and Tim, we both played the sequel at EGX probably 5 years ago.
Yeah,
right.
And now the game's finally out, so I've been very excited about this one. It's an improvement in every way, shape, or form. If you've not seen the game itself, the previous game very kind of voxely in the graphical style. This time around, even though there's a lot of that original style in there, they do improve a lot of the backgrounds, the objects, the ships and everything, like just the graphical fidelity overall. It just looks so impressive now. And it doesn't just look like a mash of shapes on each level. It's like a volcano level, an undersea level, a desert forest. And it seems the further you progress, the levels start looking more kind of lifelike than the one previous, but I'm not sure if that's just the later levels or if it is kind of intentionally doing that as you're playing through the game. As you're flying through these levels with your spaceship, like I said, you're using your left stick to follow along a wavelength in time with the music, and with the right stick you're using it as a target to take down enemies that appear, be that regular enemies or gigantic bosses or obstacles that may come in your way along the way. And it is a very enjoyable game. I like rhythm games, and this is one that's it's taking the idea of like a Vib Ribbon or a Guitar Hero, and making you do the two kind of like the pat your head and rub your stomach kind of motion, where you're getting your brain to do two separate things at the same time. It takes a bit of a learning. There's a bit of a learning curve to pick that up. But then once you get the hang of it,
just
it's
looks
so
like,
fun.
It just looks like it might give me brain cramp and might make me accidentally poop myself because I'm concentrating too much and doing two other things at the same time.
Yeah, I mean,
that might be more to do with my mid-40s gastrointestinal tract. However,
there are the levels that are playing now. It's like in the last kind of 5 or 6 levels, so it is quite far on in the game. It looks a bit insane and quite hard to deal with, but you are sort of ramping up the difficulty along the way. There is thankfully a very merciful tutorial before you start the game that it makes you play, so you can get your head around it. But when I played the first game, it was just on a stand. They put the first level on there. I tried it once and went, something's here. I need to play this a couple more times. And then after a few times, I love this. I need this. Day one, I need this in my life.
It kind of reminds me of Beat Saber meets Star
Res
Fox or Panzer Dragoon meets Vid Ribbon. It's got that kind of like two games mashed together
at
kind
its
of
heart,
vibe.
it's an on-rail shooter, isn't it? At its heart,
It's a rhythm game on rails shooter. Much in the same kind of Panzer Dragoon or Star Fox kind of style, but a little bit easier than those games, I think. Well, not easy. A little bit more simplistic than the style of those games, but because of the nature of the rhythm game, that's what makes it harder. And one of the other things they did previously in the game was the bosses were very kind of very big creative bosses. One was like a gigantic sandworm, kind of like Dune, that you're firing against, and then it ends up swallowing you, and then you got a whole level of flying through it, and then you got another level of trying to get out of it,
to exit it through the bottom.
Yeah,
Get to the worm
way
butt.
out for its face. This time you got like a gigantic crab and some kind of squid monster. They're pretty cool. I've very enjoyed trying to get those down. And the soundtrack is insane. There's a site called Monster Cat, I think it is, and that's where they get all their music from. It's easily licensed dance music, but they've always got some hidden bangers in there, and it works very well for this game. The thing that I've not really spoken about and is the kind of selling point of the sequel, I think, is there's the 2-player mode that they brought into this game.
I was going to say, it was co-op.
Yeah, it's in all the advertising and the trailers and everything, and the idea that you have a blue ship and a red ship and you're following your own coloured
I have a
trails
question.
this time. Yes.
I have a question. Did they have a race? Did one of them stuff their face? And was the other one okay because they took the Milky Way? That's what I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
Coleman, not amused. Coleman, no, think
I mean,
funny.
Smart Old Blue took the Milky Way.
Yeah, he did.
No, the signal went a bit weird for a moment.
Hey, well, it wasn't just being Tim just being really old that just made the internet break for a minute. You will have my mid-80s chocolate bar reference, goddammit. And you will like it.
I am fully aware. I am fully aware of, where is it?
Wow.
This has been on my soundboard for a long time.
And look, I've given you finally the chance to use it, Coleman.
How much of this do we need to play to get a copyright strike, eh?
About that much.
None. It's a very old advert, and it's not really sought after advertising.
Parody laws, Tim. We're fine. Parody.
But so the big selling point on this one all over the campaign is the 2-player mode. The reason I've not got into it is because I've not tried it in the finished product. I've only done it on the preview that I played with Tim, and we both sucked. But I've only seen the 2-player mode. I haven't got any friends that are playing this game that I've jumped in with, and I've not really been. I've been playing on the tube, so I can't really get on the internet and play with randomers. So
do you need 2 joysticks to play the game as well? Because could you play the co-op game individually?
Not on a Steam Deck.
Play both ships on one controller?
I don't think so. No, because you need one for control and one for
because you need left hand
aiming for shooting stuff. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
It's not like Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons.
I was trying to think of the other game it reminds me of, and I think Rez is the obvious go-to as well, no? Because it's got that kind of like Panzer Dragoon or Rez style kind of shooting, painting targets and shooting them kind of thing, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I really enjoyed this one. This is on PC. It's available on Xbox Series X and S as well, and it is a pretty decent price of £12.49. And would you believe, plays so well on the Steam Deck. It is
I was going to ask, because that seems to me to be the way to play.
The most coverage I've seen about this game are people on YouTube going, secret Steam Deck gem. Pick up the Steam Deck gem. This performs so well on the Steam Deck. Get it on the Steam Deck.
Do they say it like that? Steam Deck gem. They don't say
Steam Deck gem.
So I'll play it on the
hidden
Steam Deck.
gem
of
Steam Deck gem.
Yes. But considering, because I think, so with the first game, the developer sent me the first game, and then I ended up buying it again for PC. Well, I bought it for the Switch, so I could play on the go, and then ended up buying it on PC so I could play it on my Steam Deck. And now I've got Aaero 2 on the Steam Deck. So I'm up to that. I'm getting close to your Destiny records, Dan.
Nothing can beat my Destiny. Do you know what? I actually haven't played Act 2 or 3 of the most recent episode of Destiny.
Who are you and what have you done with Dan?
I don't know.
What did you do with Dan?
I haven't touched Destiny since like November.
I don't know if that speaks volumes about your available gaming time or volumes about Destiny. I'm not sure which
A
one
little
that
bit of
talks to
both,
more.
to be honest with you.
A little bit
bit
of column
both.
A, a little bit of column B.
And, I actually... it's made me shock horror play actually catch up with some other games because I've kind of escaped the FOMO that's inherent in games like Destiny. Man, I know it's an old game, but I caught this idea off you, Coleman, where you were saying, "Oh no, Cyberpunk 2077, really, really good." Because I only kind of I played it a bit right when it came out, where it was a steaming pile of well-meaning but
Broken.
ultimately hot garbage. Man, that game is awesome.
It's so good. I love it.
Actually runs, if you get the settings right, kind of runs all right on the Steam Deck, actually. It's all right.
Okay. I played it when it was verified for Steam Deck, but I could not get the settings down on it. But maybe it's been improved since.
I'll show him.
Okay.
I mean,
did
in
see
like
a-
Well,
list of-
you have an OLED, so you have slightly more power.
Oh, yeah,
than
that
me,
helps
So
a
it
bit.
could be something to do with that.
But I did see a list of people saying like best games on Steam Deck, and that was like the first one they mentioned, basically. So
Oh, okay.
If you
Interesting.
it's just keep your expectations in check. It chugs a bit in Dogtown, but
Who
everything
doesn't?
else surprisingly good. But anyway,
I mean,
that's
if
a
you,
game everyone
if-
here has probably played to death.
Considering Dogtown was the £50 expansion for the game, if you got there was some questions you were asked, and if you get it wrong, then you basically just locked yourself out of the expansion you just paid for, which I think they've patched now and made it so there's another way in. But at the time, like, you could just lock yourself out of that completely. But yeah, that is a good game. There's a reason why it's one of my
but do you know
favorite
what else
games
made
of
me
all time
slightly
now.
sad? Was discovering that Witcher 3 is 10 years old now.
Yeah, and it's been fixed for 7 of them, which is great.
As long as that.
Good old CD
Yeah.
Projekt and their ways of doing things.
So that's what I've been sinking time into, largely. Games are going to get. We're back on the release train fairly soon, I think. So
I may have to do some Witcher 3 again, because I really got into that at a point and dropped off somewhere. But now you have the ability, like the improvements on the PS5 are really good. I messed around with them for a little bit, but it plays so well on the Steam Deck. And now that you can do the cloud saves between the two systems, I may have to jump back in, I think. Yeah.
Yes, but anyway, so we probably, I think that having been done what we done played,
News.
probably ought to get into the news, because it turns out there has been some news, some actual genuine news. But first, I'm going to
Wait,
bore you
is this the second trailer? Is this the second trailer for GTA 6?
Not quite as no, it's not.
But
No.
Dan, they hid these obvious things to say that they were going to show a new trailer for GTA 6 in December, despite Rockstar never doing this before. Dan, the internet was ablaze. You can't tell me that they didn't release the trailer.
How little of a crap I give. Words cannot describe it.
Dan, the trailer. GTA 6, Dan. The trailer, Dan. All the clues.
Yeah. Really?
Okay.
Yeah. Before we sneak in with the very obvious news, I'm going to jump in with something else, because it is actually tangentially related, and I shall explain to you why. All right, strap in, nerds. It's some PC news on graphics cards.
Is it CES time?
It's CES time.
Woo!
So, unsurprisingly, NVIDIA announced the latest iteration of their RTX graphics cards, the 5000 series, which, guess what, do more. Cost. Well, actually, the cost isn't so bad, but you do. I was going to say,
is it named after the cost? 5,000?
No, Tim, that's a terrible.
No.
That's actually the meters in length that the new graphics cards are.
That is the volume of the graphics card in cubic meters. It's that big. It's huge.
That's how many tungstens they weigh.
So there is, as per usual, various flavors going from the relatively.
Have you been licking your graphics card again, Dan?
Yeah, I have. But it's just normal for me to do that. And it goes all the way up to the super expensive. And what they've really been trying to tout this time is that the entry level card, which is $549 or something, or so. It's a chunk of change, but not eye-wateringly so. Has as much performance as, or has the same comparable performance to the super expensive 1,500 quid flagship 4000 series one, the 4090. How on earth do they do this, I ask? Well, it's slightly smoke and mirrors because it's all to do with AI and frame generation. So if you're measuring performance in frames per second, then yes, it can do, where something might be doing 60 frames a second on the previous gen, it might be, they might say, well, it's now 180 frames a second. But every 2 of those 3 frames is completely made up by AI. So that
do they care?
Is how they're doing it, how one metric of performance is measured. But actually, if you look at it in raw compute, they're only about 15% like for like more powerful than the previous gen of cards. But they have got all the AI hotness under there that enables them to the naked eye, make it look fancier. But what the real important news was, because guess what? New graphics cards come out, everyone wants to buy them, yada, yada, yada. Skeletons everywhere do a little dance.
Delicious.
Yes. What the big news here is they're actually changing the AI model, and I'm getting to the interesting bit too soon, Tim. Don't worry.
Right.
They're updating the AI model that powers DLSS,
this is what
which
VR's
is their
like to
super
Dan.
sampling
I'll be
technology.
the judge of that.
Yeah, they are making that more accurate through changing the AI model that underpins it, which means that upscaling looks better, also ups frame rate, like raw frame rate as well, without generating any new frames. And kind of unlocks some additional kind of bells and whistles, like improving the way that path tracing is done for ray tracing. But the reason why it's relevant here, and we're getting there now, Tim, is because it isn't just their latest series of graphics cards they're rolling this out on. They're putting it on all the previous ones as well, including the 3000 series, which is based on the Ampere.
If I owned one, I might care.
The Ampere technology, and the Ampere tech is what is in the new Switch 2, according to the motherboard leaks, and therefore is probably likely going to be one of the real reasons behind an apparent massive performance uplift, because now they've got the best part of half a decade of kind of AI trained AI models to help upscale tech and improve frame rate. So that's why the Switch 2, still having an NVIDIA chip, is probably a big deal, because it's going to be able to lean on, frankly, the industry-leading upscaling and up-resing tech that they've been showing off with the latest that they announced at the same time as the latest RTX card. So there you go, Tim. That's how I'm linking it to the reveal of the Nintendo Switch 2, which was also today, and was totally planned
actually
with
interesting.
Yeah, and Nintendo totally meant to release it, announce it in that way, and didn't at all have their hand forced boiled the leaks that have come out everywhere.
Tim, come back. Come back to us, Tim. Tim,
yes,
come back.
We're back, Tim.
No, Tim. No, come back,
fine.
Tim. He's still talking. No, Tim.
So,
Nintendo Switch 2, you say?
Yes, the Switch 2.
Good.
Yes.
Yeah. They've announced one. It's pretty good.
Yes, in news that surprised precisely no one. I think the only thing that surprised me is that I was kind of hoping Nintendo were going to come up with a completely insane name for it, but they just whacked a 2 next to the logo.
They do seem to have, especially for Nintendo, played it safe a little with both the name and seemingly the like, we don't know all the functionality of the new system, but they don't seem to have like pushed the boat out as much as they tend to do between different hardware iterations. Like they usually go a bit more left field. They've played it a little bit safe and just gone. And I think that's why the Nintendo Switch 2 does make sense, because this does seem like its successor to the previous consoles, where in previous console generations, they tend to go, and here now for something completely different. Whereas that's not really what they've done this time by the looks of things, no?
Well, I mean, Wii and Wii U, they basically look like the same console.
But that, I think that confused people.
Apart from the big old screen in the controller.
Yeah.
Yes, they didn't call it a Wii 2, and that was the problem. And they've not made this mistake this time, and definitely gone with Switch 2. So you know this is a new console. That is good.
That said, I think there is some good news in this. I think it looks really
Right.
good. Like the system looks really nice. I like the form and function. Well, I like the function, not necessarily the functionality, but the form of it and how it looks and how it presents. I think it looks good.
Sleek.
The stand thing I can give or take, but I think with that having the detachable controllers, that makes sense. The dock thing
I'm going to break
looks
the heck out of that
decent
stand.
again. They've gone with a very similar design of being able to take the control pads off and slot them onto something. Again, that kind of makes sense. It makes sense that you can play multiplayer from one console. Them being a bit larger, I think, is going to be a bit better for like adult size hands doing that with each controller.
Yeah.
And I think the best news from everything was the fact that you can actually play your old cartridges on it still. And it seems like there's going to be some backwards compatibility for
And
the
digital games as well.
Yeah.
Now, here is the thing I am wondering. Now, there is one bit of the trailer.
Yeah.
The Joy-Cons are zooming around on a tabletop, end on. And I wonder if...
They're not going to
the
zoom
rumors-
around on their own, Dan. They're not like...
No, they're not going to zoom around on their own. But I was trying to have a little look. I was wondering if... Because there is like, if you freeze frame it, and this is me going proper tinfoil hat mode here.
Yeah.
I wonder if there is mouse-like functionality for these.
Yeah, that is one of the leaked rumors that has been going around. That the Joy-Con will have a mouse function, much like the is it the Lenovo Legion Go or something? I forget the name of it. But that one had Joy-Con. No, the Legion.
Yes, but the
it
Legion
had-
S, I think, is the latest one. No.
Okay, but the previous one also had this.
Oh, okay.
But you could take the Joy-Con or the
Right,
Joy-Con type controller off, and you could use it as a mouse, and you could play like shooters with the mouse. And considering like one of the biggest games on the Switch, it's mostly kids playing Fortnite, and it would probably be a good shout to put a mouse controller of some form in there. The bit that Dan's talking about is where they've taken the extra little controller nubbin that you'd put on top of the Joy-Con when you detach them and play them on their own.
Yeah.
Those colored things, they show them kind of gliding around on that. So it might just be an aesthetic choice for the trailer, or it could be a mouse functionality. But I see what you mean,
Right.
Dan. One of the things we've not mentioned
I'm
is...
freeze framing like some kind of internet weirdo at the moment.
Yeah.
Because I actually think there's an extra set of... I think there's an extra button on the... If you hold them with like the end down, it almost looks like there's another button you can get at with your finger or something.
Yeah, that's the Facebook button, because Nintendo are always a little bit behind the curve.
Yes. No, there's an extra trigger. So you got your shoulder, your trigger, but then there's like a side trigger. And I think that would go in line with that. So there's kind of like there's yeah. It freeze frame it. It'll make sense. But I'm calling it. That's got mouse functionality in it.
You think?
Yep.
Some of the things we've not mentioned. So you said about the detachable Joy-Cons, Tim. No longer, they're not on rails anymore. It's kind of magnetized, so you kind of push and pull the controller straight in and out. That's good because a lot of people, the first thing that anyone does with the Switch is they take the Joy-Con out and then they put the little rail on for the nubbin, and they put it on the wrong way, and then they got to figure out how to get the damn thing off again because they get stuck too easy. My ones, I don't know if you've got the same, because I predominantly played my Switch in handheld mode and took it on journeys with me a lot. So there is a bit of give between the Joy-Con and the tablet part of it now, so it wobbles a fair bit, and they do detach and stuff. And my original Joy-Cons, like the latch is fully gone, so they just pop out if you're not careful. So I had to get new ones of those. So it's a better idea to have it kind of push in and out. I'm wondering how strong that. I'm assuming it's a strong magnet that they've put in there.
Yeah.
But I wonder how long that the magnetizing will work for, because a lot of strong magnet products you get and go, that's a cool thing, and then after a couple of years you go, uh-oh, that's not as strong as it used to be.
I imagine that will be reasonably well engineered. Like, I don't think they want any problems with their controllers. They've had a long time now to engineer the way around the problems that they had with the previous Joy-Cons. So I like, don't know. Like, I think my bigger concern and the hope is that, and they haven't really talked about what stick technology they've got in there at the moment, but I'm hoping there won't be any stick drift for this generation. That's something I expect them to engineer the way around the problem for that. So
I've heard. I mean, I think we're going to see this with a lot of. I hope the Switch, but I think we're going to see this with whatever the next PlayStation, Xbox are. I think they're going to move, and I hope we see it with the Steam Deck as well. There's going to be a move towards Hall effect joysticks. I'm going to. How nerdy do you want me to get to? Because I can tell you why there's stick drift.
I've seen a lot of milk.
Only a little bit nerdy.
Yeah,
okay.
Just a bit.
So basically, the way joysticks work, it's 2 resistors, and moving the stick up and down changes the value of the resistance. It's a potentiometer, exactly like a volume knob. It's a bit like that, but with 2 of them. So one for the X, one for the Y.
You're like a volume knob.
They obviously wear out over time because you're literally scraping one bit of metal over another. Whereas Hall effect joysticks they have a little magnet inside them, and it's changing the electromagnetic field, which tells the computer where the joystick is, and they don't wear out due to friction.
Okay.
So that's why.
Now, how do magnets work, Dan?
It's science.
Miracles.
How they work.
Good.
Yeah, that and miracles and science.
All right, cool.
Just to kind of deviate away, still talking about the stick drift, but deviating away from the Switch 2 ever so slightly. I've got a very annoying stick drift problem on one of my controllers, Tim.
I'm sorry to hear that.
The PlayStation VR 2 controller.
Really? I have no problem with that.
It now, considering the last time I used this was November 2023.
Right.
Well, have you drifted away from using it? Is that the problem?
I thought, do you know what? I'm going to get my money's worth. I'm going to finally start using my PSVR 2 more. And then I booted up, House Flipper, and I couldn't play it properly because the controllers weren't working properly.
Well, that's the
so
problem.
Then I went, Creed.
Playing House Flipper.
Let's play a bit. Well, I was like, let's play a bit of Creed. That wasn't working. I went, okay, let's try something that I know works. Let's try Saints and Sinners. Mm-hmm. Same problem. And then I realized that every time I left the game on the menu, it would just suddenly shoot off to the left, to the right. And I've looked into it, and apparently it's a very common problem with these cheap, horribly made controllers. So I have to pay PlayStation 50 quid to send it to them so they can fix it. You can't just buy new controllers.
Yeah, you can't buy new ones either. That is a problem.
Yeah,
although there are rumours that that's something that is going to happen later this year because they're going to sell them separately because I can't remember, but someone else is using them for something as well. Like, there's rumours that they're going to be available for something else, so they're
I haven't got time for rumours, Tim. I need my controllers to work. I've just set up on PC.
You have no time for waiting. So, also, there's a very good VR game that came out today. Arcanage is apparently brilliant. So that's one I've been waiting for a while. Might have to try and pick that up and play that before next week if I get a chance.
What you want, Coleman, to stop you spending 50 quid, you want some WD-40 contact cleaner, not WD-40, WD-40 contact cleaner.
I have that.
Will spray it in. Do it. Spray it in. Jiggle it about.
Apparently, I looked up into this, and there was a long guide on pulling the thing apart and then disassembling everything and then jamming something in between a contact, and then it would work. Apparently, I'm not doing all of that.
Right under the stick, wiggle it about.
If I can drift us back to the subject of Nintendo Switch 2.
Bad segue, Tim. Tim. Yeah. In your corner.
It's not really a segue. Going back to the future.
It wasn't. It was terrible.
But yeah, what do we think? Because they did say with the backwards compatibility that some games will not be compatible. And I've heard a few people speculating that there probably won't be some of the technology that there was in the previous Joy-Cons. So 1-2 Switch, sadly, probably won't work by the sounds of things. But how far do we think the compatibility will go, or the problems will be?
Because there was somewhere it's like it needed the IR controller, because there's an IR sensor on it. I wonder if it's that.
See, I thought that this was going to be a case of, because there are now nearly 16,000 games on the eShop.
That's
and a good chunk of them are asset flips, mobile ports, just junk. I was hoping that they said
a lot of them are Mario games, and they're basically asset flips.
And I thought that they were, how dare you? I thought when they said that not all games will be backwards compatible. That it would be kind of a chance to weed out some of the junk on the e-store. And then I saw IGN. I think it was IGN I was reading, and they said that most games will be backwards compatible. So it might just be a technological thing. Something's missing that was originally in the previous Switch.
I think it was the AR sensor that I heard other people saying would not be in there. I'm assuming they're going to have
it's
the
a shame.
same
I actually
sort
do
of,
like 1-2 Switch.
Yeah, I think they'll have the same sort of accelerometer type things and most of the stuff that's in there. But it sounds like the AR sensor was the one thing that's probably going away. But do you think
IR, not AR.
Do you think? Sorry, IR. Do you think there are any like things that will have to be done by developers that will make that functionality, or do you think they'll just all be backwards compatible? Like, is it something where smaller indie games that don't do patches might have a problem, or do you think most of the stuff will just function?
I mean, the architecture of the system is pretty similar. It uses NVIDIA Tegra chip, so it might well be that stuff just runs. I mean, there might be some tweaking needed, or I don't know whether or not at the OS level it detects it's a Switch 1 game and downrates the performance of the system on a chip or something like that. I don't know, but it would.
I think the. Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say I think it's going to be a relatively small hop, skip, and a jump to make stuff run.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the big question should be: will there be any kind of improvements for using backwards compatible games on this new system, or will it just be a case of being able to just play games on this new system? An interesting thing we saw as well, there was a quick shot of Mario Kart, which I thought was them just pointing out that backwards compatibility. It does appear to be a new Mario Kart because there are 24 racers lined up in that track, and that has never happened before. And also there's a slight remodel of Mario and Donkey Kong, where Donkey Kong doesn't look like the Donkey Kong Country Donkey Kong, and he looks more like the SNES Mario Kart Donkey Kong with the...
It didn't look like a massive graphical upgrade, though, did it? Like it didn't look worlds apart.
It's difficult. It wasn't
to tell. Like hyper realistic all of a sudden or anything.
It was shrunk down. Well, I mean, for me, I was watching this on my phone, and it was then on a TV screen that was a third of the screen and shrunk down. So, and the most I've seen are people zooming in, and it's blown out the pixels a bit. So we'll see when we get an actual trailer for this. I mean, we'll see in was it April the 2nd? I think. Yes, that's when the direct will be going on.
Yeah, and I'm not. And then that was totally the date. By the way, Nintendo originally intended to blow the cover on this. I think we wouldn't have seen this trailer if it wasn't for all the leaks.
They would have had this trailer out before that time. I think.
I think we were meant to get what we got with the Switch, where they send out a bunch of invites to influencers and stuff and go, hey, we're going to do this thing on this date. Although apparently a lot of influencers seem to know exactly. Like I was listening to SkillUp's video earlier, and he was saying, I can't believe I'm dropping this video like 1 hour after the Steam Deck Switch 2 gets announced. So apparently there was some knowledge behind the scenes of this exactly when this was going to happen. But the interesting thing is there's going to be events worldwide where you can get your hands on with the Nintendo Switch 2. And in London, it's going to happen between April the 11th and the 13th.
Ooh.
April the 11th is a certain member of this podcast's birthday. I think we should be doing a little hands-on birthday celebration.
I'm not sure I want to do a hands-on birthday celebration with you, Coleman. I'm not sure that's...
Touch my junk!
Hands-on birthday celebration does sound dodgy.
Waggle my Joy-Con.
Cover my sensor. Cover it.
Yeah. If you want to go to any of the hands-on events worldwide, you
Drift
can.
My
But
stick.
you need to make sure you have a Nintendo Online account, or you won't be allowed. Which we all have because we're Nintendo Switch owners.
I don't.
Anyway, I booked the 11th off because it's my birthday and it's on a Friday. So I might see if I can get a jump and go. Yeah, I might just go on the Friday wherever it is and see if I can jump in and enjoy this.
Oh, okay.
Sounds good.
Report back on the show.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised when they put the date up. I was like, they're going to announce it in February because I assumed we got the American date on the trailer, but then no, it was actually in April. I was like, oh, okay, April 2nd. Yeah.
the direct happens April the 2nd. The hands-on events happen between the 6th and mid-April. So I'm assuming that's going to come out like 1 or 2 months after those events.
Yeah, people were saying, like, I heard Giant Bomb was speculating fall, but I think if they're doing hands-on, like, that's usually only a few months before it comes out. Now, I would think summer more than fall, I would have thought.
Well, now hang on. So the
Autumn.
Switch one were random. The release month of the Switch was a bit random. That was like in March, I want to say.
It
was
was
a weird time.
Yes, because the announcement was October, and then it came out in
I think it was
March. You're
March.
correct. It was like March 13th or something.
But I
So
could see
it
them
may well
wanting
be that
to
it's gonna
launch
be
it a
late
while
summer.
before Christmas so they can have another push for Christmas with like
Yeah.
some big games that come out a bit later. I could see.
Yeah,
them
you get to do
doing
the
it that
bundles
way.
for Black Friday and all that.
Yeah, and all that sort of thing. Yeah.
Usual marketing BS.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It
Coleman,
works.
you so cynical.
I know. Yeah, that's everything to do with the Switch 2 as we know it now. I'm sure we'll revisit this in April and have a chat about the Direct.
And I look
Looking
forward to
forward
wild, baseless speculation about it until then.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun finding out all the stuff that we were kind of reporting on the leaks for the Switch Pro that never happened. And then it turned out most of them were true. It's just that COVID happened. So the Switch Pro became the Switch OLED, and most of those functions are now forwarded into the Switch 2 by the looks of it. Funny that. Anyway, Shuhei Yoshida. We have spoken about him in
Never
the
heard
past.
of him.
He used to be the head of PlayStation for a while.
What? Never heard of that.
Seems like a very lovely man.
He
Stepped
was a very
down,
lovely
made way
man.
for. I mean, he still is, as far as I'm aware.
Well, yes.
But he's been with PlayStation for 31 years. He stepped down as the head of PlayStation to make way for Herman Holst, and then he took a more indie role, like head of indie games within PlayStation or something.
Indie.
And
No.
now he's stepping down from PlayStation after 31 years.
Which is as long as the PlayStation brand itself has existed, I believe. He's been there probably
Yes.
since the beginning, I'm guessing.
And now he's off to be a Twitch streamer. He's going to be getting those 360 no-scope kills in
Nice.
Fortnite. Going to pwn the noobs, whatever Twitch streamers say these days.
Going to pwn the new
Pwn
the new series noobs.
noobs.
I do
Yes.
think this is a sad thing for the gaming industry, though. Like PlayStation and the gaming
not
in
dead.
general. No, I'm just saying it was all better off with him in it, and it will be slightly worse off with him out of the industry. So it's a bit of a shame. Like I think he was an absolutely lovely guy. It was lovely when I met him, but wish him all the best.
In the same day he announced he was leaving, he also announced that he's voice acting in a video game. So, I mean, he's still
He's got
around.
options.
He's doing stuff. Yeah. Looking forward.
Do we know which
Uh,
He's
game?
not
but
dead
yeah,
yet, Tim.
I've forgotten the name of it, but it's one where you're playing different influencers or something. I'd have to look into it. I'll find out.
Okay.
That
talk
sounds
about it
like
next
a
time.
miserable idea for a game.
Apparently, there's loads and loads of like industry insiders and celebrities and stuff in this game that looks
Oh,
kind of cool.
God. Sounds
We'll
like
see.
the
I think
gaming
it's like-
equivalent of herpes. No.
I think it's like graphic novel style. But anyway. Right.
I can do
last
one, I'll
one,
tell
and
you
I want
that
to touch
right
on this
now.
quickly because I had a big rant about this like a month ago now. But
Yeah.
Right.
Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, the
Oh,
game that
right.
just keeps on giving. And what it gives, you should probably
It
consult your
taketh
doctor about.
away.
Yeah. So this one, I mean, it took a little while to catch up with Concord, but Suicide Squad, it's done. The support is done. It's not
no Concord,
cancelled.
Come on.
In fact, they just gave it away on PlayStation Plus. So
Yes.
if you really hate yourself, you can play it.
I still
I actually
haven't
gave it a
downloaded
go.
No.
I fell asleep during the tutorial. But I was
Welcome
ill.
to being
so-
in your 40s,
Watch
Coleman.
Yeah. It was very boring, but I've known everything that's going on in this game, and I did have a rant about the game and like
Right.
the legacy that this game leaves, because this
Yeah.
is a canonical game that is set in the Arkham universe, and after playing all the Arkham games and you know what's happened and all this kind of stuff, and then they went, by the way, the
Right.
Suicide Squad, kill the Justice League. And I kind of said it was spitting on the legacy of that series and also Kevin Conroy, and I really didn't like that. And now they've finally gone, okay, right, here you go. You've got your DLC, you've got your offline mode. That's everything we said you were going to have. We've given the game away for free. We've given the game away for £2.50. We've given the game away on PlayStation Plus. It's done. We don't need to do any more of this, even though we were planning to drag this out for about 3 years. One of their big plans was to go each new update, we're going to reveal a bit of the story along the way. And the big CGI cutscenes, they quickly dwindled into, which usually this takes a couple of years in video games and like MMOs and updates and things, where they go, okay, here was the big CGI update, and then it's comic book panels. And
looking at
now
you,
it's
Destiny
like
2.
Yeah, and now it's less than comic book panels. It's just like a still frame and the art is not there.
Man.
Where they've very quickly gone, okay, here's the ending to Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and it's a couple of panels narrated by Harley Quinn. And they went, and they literally just got, and spoiler alert.
Batman died on the way back to his home planet.
No, they literally go, so we beat up Brainiac and the Justice League are alive.
Yeah.
Bye.
That's right. They're all clones all along.
But you'd be pleased to know, even though I've just added this to my account on PS, you'd be pleased to know I haven't.
Are we playing online?
They actually haven't updated the description of the game on PlayStation, and they still promise you post-launch players can expect a continuously evolving Metropolis with three new playable villains, etc., etc., etc.
4.
Oh dear.
You get 4.
Oh dear.
You get the Joker, which is like a weird-looking Bullet for My Valentine type Joker. You've got Mrs. Freeze, not Nora Freeze, a different universe of Mr. Freeze, where it's not Nora Freeze. Nora Freeze is in this other universe, but Mr. Freeze is now Mrs. Freeze.
Right.
Lesbian. Different universe, Dan.
Right.
It did feel like a kind of, hey, we're really trying to send the message that the people that don't like this game, it's because they're right extremists and all this kind of stuff. And then they went, right. By the way, our next character is a overweight lesbian Asian woman. And I was like, it did feel like it was kind of baiting them, The next one was the son, the daughter of Deadshot, who is apparently in the comics, but it's a fairly new character, so I don't know who they are. But they're an influencer, and all their dialogue is cringy as hell.
Oh.
And then the last one, they went, here's Deadshot, a character that you probably would have wanted in the original lineup. We actually teased the game with this character back in Arkham Origins. You probably could have done with them in the launch of the game or the first DLC. And we didn't change him in any way, shape, or form. It's just Deadshot, and he's cool. So those are your 4 characters now.
Wow.
Okay.
Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. Some people paid over £90 for this game.
As long as Suicide Squad didn't kill Rocksteady, that's all I'm really worried about. But hey.
I mean, I think there has been some redundancies this week. I think.
Yes. Well,
and yeah, I heard some stuff where, because the original leaders of Rocksteady have gone during the development of this game. And I heard that this game they may have planned this, or they may have already planned to leave before the launch of, after this game came out. And this may have been like a big cash cow to go out on a high and go do something else. But it did not work out that way, any way, shape. I
thought this was on the cards for a while. It's the same thing with BioWare as well. Like, it just seems
Dragon Age was meant to be like this.
Yeah, but it's kind of, the major leaders of the studio go, and they kind of seem to lose a little bit of direction in the process as well. But yeah, I'm very hopeful that Rocksteady can turn it around from here. Like, they are, I think, probably about the most local AAA developers that you can have, because they're very local to where me and Coleman are and where Dan used to live as well. But yeah, like, you're a massive fan of their previous output as well, so I think we all would like them to be able to turn the ship around and actually be able to come out swinging with something more interesting after this when this dies. So this dying quickly isn't the worst news in the world. Hopefully it means they can focus their time, money, attention on something more deserved.
The craziest thing that we had a Rocksteady Batman Arkham game set in the universe that failed. We had one from the creators of Arkham Origins that failed. So the best Batman game that's come out this generation is a VR game that wasn't even made by any of the original creators.
Yeah, made by Camouflage, who did the
and
Iron
is a
Man
sequel
game
to Origins, the one that no one likes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Crazy.
Womp womp.
I think that's enough of the news.
Yes.
I think that's enough of the news. I think we should probably think about getting out of here is what I think we should be thinking about doing. I think, don't you think? I think so, yes, too. Great, fantastic. We need to remind you, ladies and gents, that there is one and only place where you can buy my face on the internet. And that, tpublic.com/store/BRB.
Oh, sorry.
Buy my face. tpublic.com/store/BRB. My face is there. You can put it on your face or other parts of your body. This is getting a bit weird and ficky, so I'm going to stop now. tpublic.com/store/BRB.
Currently, and I was trying to look up how long it is, but currently at the time of podcasting, there is a 35% sale off.
35% off my face.
Till when? Because the last time you announced one of these, it was ending the day the podcast came out.
Just says until it's gone. It doesn't give me information.
Ooh.
Act fast. Act fast. Shop now is what it says. Do it now. You're watching the live show.
Do it now.
Never give up. Never surrender.
By my face.
By Dan's face. Or this excellent T-shirt.
Yes,
By the
which
one
is
movie-
actually designed by someone with more talent than the three of us, Bleezy.
Yes.
Thank you, Bleezy.
Easy. We love Bleezy.
We do. He
Come back,
accidentally
Bleezy.
joined a game of Helldivers 2 with me, Kevin, Jamie the other day, styled it out, and then right before he left said, I didn't actually mean to join this game with you three. I thought you were someone different. God bless you, Bleezy. Never stop being Bleezy. What a legend. Tim, is Tuesday yet?
Tuesday is indeed a Tuesday, and we've been back for a couple of weeks with Tabletop Tuesday. But we didn't have a feature game last week, and we don't have a feature game this week, unfortunately. Normally, we have a feature game every week, and we play that feature game, and you have a chance of winning that feature game on that very evening just by trying out that game that evening. We don't have a feature game this week, but to make up for it, we have double prizes to give away. We're doing a Big Potato special. Anyone that comes along and plays one of a Big Potato games, which front and center I'm recommending Q's and Q's, because that's one of their latest games and it's very good. And we've got a couple of copies in the bar. So if you come along and play that or any other Big Potato game on the night, you can win a Big Potato game. And they make very good, very fun party games in the main, although a few other things as well, like Cluster and stuff. But they generally make lovely little games and often big party games that are very good. So come along, play one of those games, and you can win. If you want to check out more details, you can check out more details on bigredbarrel.com. On the right-hand side, there is a little column of stuff, and on the top of that, there is a link to the details of Tabletop Tuesday, or you can join the...
We have a column of stuff on our
column
website.
Of stuff.
And things.
Or you can join
don't see that anywhere else.
Thousands of people in our meetup group. Search for Tabletop Tuesday on meetup.com, or just come along to the loading bar in Stoke, Newington each and every Tuesday, and we will have lots of lovely board games and card games for you to come along and play, try out, and lots of lovely people to play them with.
I did.
Go to Tabletop Tuesday and loading bar in Stoke, Newington. Go to the Big Potato game, guys. Go check out Obama Llama 2. Stone Cold banger. Love Obama Llama.
Obama
Llama is a favorite played game in my office at work. We like to do that one when it's quiet, which isn't often, but we do. If you've enjoyed this show, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. You're flipping weirdos. But please go over to bigredbarrel.com. Over there, that's where we host this here website and this here podcast and other podcasts like it. You know, like the VR one where Tim and Kev
don't encourage
talk
him.
for
Do not encourage
7
him.
hours
Do not,
and then cut it down into an hour and 40 minutes. It's Pretty good.
Encouraging.
Yes, VRB and all that kind of thing.
We
There's
might
stuff
do another
happening,
one at
things
some point,
happening.
maybe.
There might be at least 2 podcasts in 2025 from VRB. And even a boom. Maybe there's a boom this year. And
steady on.
Comics Inc. Let's bring back Comics Inc. And Sarcastic Gamer, the Pink Show. We'll bring those back.
I really don't think that's
Check it
gonna
out.
happen.
BigRedBarrel.com. I tried to make that happen once. BigRedBarrel.com. Be sure to check it out. We've got stuff and things. Yes,
Wow.
both of them. But also, if you like to follow us and stalk us on social media, you can find us on X, Threads, and Facebook, and Blue Skies at Big Red Barrel.
Ooh.
That's where we put updates and things. They're pretty cool. And check us out if you're not checking us out on our video formats, you can watch the live streams on Twitch at Big Red Barrel. And you can watch us on YouTube at Big Red Barrel, but we also put our fully edited version of the video version of this here podcast on Big Red Barrel TV. Go check it out. And check us out on Discord. There is a link to our Discord on bigredbarrel.com, or you can try and decipher the way that Dan says it, which is
Discord.com/invite/mentalhafwa.
one more time
Discord.com/invite/mentalhafwa.
in French.
Le Discord.com/invite/mon de hafwa.
Pretty good. I like it.
Thank
Yeah, check out any of those things. Get a hold of us. You can leave us comments. You can
you.
leave
Weren't
us
expecting
questions.
that, were you? Huh?
I loved it. You can ask us questions on any of those platforms. We do prefer Discord, but any of the ways that you ask us, we can read them. We can get back to you. We can chat to you. We can read them out on the show. Much like Carlosus says on our YouTube channel, Switchblade 1 absolutely did come out for the Amiga, and the soundtrack was incredible.
Oh, okay.
Right, we
Someone
stand
else
corrected.
remembers Switchblade. I'm happy.
Sam Rowan says, I started with a Commodore 64 and then onto an Amiga A600. I didn't even know that model existed.
Yeah, there's an A600. It was like a mini A500.
I also had Frontier Elite 2 on mine, and it ran like arse on the 600, and I was hopeless at it, but I loved it all the same. The fact that Workbench software that came with the Amigas had a hard disk copy facility built in sure helped the games propagate between friends on the local market. That's what Sam Rowan said.
Coleman's just had a bowel movement in the comfort of his own trousers.
Sam Rowan also put a bunch of links to Amiga stuff on the Discord that you should check out. And Mild and Creamy has the ability to listen to our podcasts in the future, which I didn't know.
Look at that.
Oh. How does he manage that?
I put out our Amiga episode, and he went, I'm sure I listened to this 5 days ago. I went, uh-oh, something's gone wrong with our scheduling.
and had something gone wrong with our scheduling?
Not that I could see. But
No.
so there must have been an open link somewhere that Mild and Creamy was able to listen to.
Oh. Or
Did
he's
he
a time
decipher
traveler.
Did he
Exclusive
decipher your
news.
the shenanigans of file naming?
Yeah, well, Mild and Creamy was last seen grabbing a sports almanac from the 80s or the 70s, and he's moving off into the future and building
You've got to
Trump
make your money
Tower.
somehow.
Mm-hmm.
Right,
Good.
shall we go? I think we should go. I think we should.
I don't know. I like doing this. I like doing more Back to the Future stuff.
Yeah, but I'm getting a little
I'd
bit
like
hungry.
to eat. Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about
Dan hungry.
Amigas a bit
Dan
more.
hungry.
That went
What?
down pretty well last week.
What did?
The Amiga
what?
stuff.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about Amigas.
Yeah, I don't think if we did that the whole time forever, it would necessarily.
Should we
happen.
just
Some people
pivot
go,
into an
"Oh, that's
Amiga
nice,
show?"
let's talk about the Amiga. But if we do it every week, they'll just be like bagging on about. The
We
Amiga
found our
again.
niche. We're an Amiga show now. Yeah.
Right,
What's coming
okay,
soon
well-
for Amiga, Tim?
Nothing. Well,
Damn.
actually, the mini
The,
Amiga 500 thing.
The
I think,
cold,
no?
lonely kiss of death.
Not
is
sure if
what's
that's
coming
out.
for the Amiga.
Not yet, but
I think that already happened.
yeah.
Yep.
Although Atari
Right.
did announce, did you see the thing they announced at CES? That was quite cool.
Oh, the pocket something or other.
Yeah, little handheld thing, but it's got all the different controllers on it. So you've got the what's the name? Ball controller.
Please
thing.
don't do
I
that
can't
motion
remember
on
the name
camera.
of the little paddles.
No, do it again.
Trackball. That's
What if
the
you-
word I was looking for.
What if you had two joysticks and you were trying to make them shake them to make them work, but they were up against your face?
We got to do. Right, we're going. I've decided. I'm taking executive action on this. We are going. I've had enough. I need to eat my dinner. Governor Mitch, yes, a BRB retro gaming mini show wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing. I agree. It wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing, but we'd find a way to make it terrible. So we're going to have a little think about that for a bit. Right, we're going. We'll be back next week. We may have played some games. Who knows? Stuff may have also happened between now and then. That would be exciting for us to talk about, wouldn't it? So we'll leave you on that cliffhanger of whether or not anything entertaining might actually happen in the end of our lives. You'll just have to tune in next week to find out, or something that isn't as anachronistic as that. Anyway, thank you for downloading us. All that's really left for me to do is remind you that I have been Dan.
I might have been Tim.
Rago Sentinel 1771 says, "Get good."
I agree.
Don't trust anything.
I think that there's a message for all of us there.
Said by anything with a number in their name. Don't trust them. No.
I believe that was in reference to Dan playing. Is it Windblown? The Dead Cells spiritual successor. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Get good, Dan.
Get good.
It's all right. I know.
Did he spell it as GITGUD?
But I'm okay with that.
GETGUD.
Yeah. You know what?
Close.
I'm all right with that. I probably need to get good.
Get good.
It's fine. I'm kind of at the stage of my life where I don't really care.
Yeah.
Just
I've been there for
fun.
a while.
I'm having fun. All good. Right, we're going. On that uplifting note. As I stared death square in the eyes. We'll be back next week. Thank you for joining us. And until next time, dear listeners, toodle bye.
Your ears are quite welcome
for the podcasting goodness that you just heard.
Why not roll on over
to BigRedBarrel.com
for more podcasts,
news, reviews, and videos from the biggest, reddest site on the internet, BigRedBarrel.com.
And I saw the cover for this. I just, I didn't know what a kiwi was, but I was like, kiwi or yellowbird, that looks adorable. I like platforming games. Picked that up with my pocket money, took it home, and I absolutely hated it because it was so hard.
It's brutally hard.